All right. Welcome. Today, today we are working on some stuff. Let me pull up my thing here. We're gonna be doing Techguns to start. Techguns, a Compat to start. Because I think I know how I want to do that. Electroblob's wizardry and Thaumcraft and stuff, I have to we're gonna actually have to look into to see how they work. And that's it. That's all we got for 1.8. We just got this stuff. So, because we improved Huela. Huela has been massively improved, and I think that's kind of dope. So that's actually this here. Right, and we looked into the smooth font thing, and that's not having any problems from what I can tell. So we just got this, and we got Thumbcraft Compat. This, I'm not too sure if it's necessary. Probably not. I'm gonna say probably not, unless I hear a solid argument for it. So this is what we're gonna do right now. I didn't switch it over. Good for me. I'm talking about the Techguns Compat, and having Spartan weaponry having its own throne configs. I don't think it really makes sense. It could, but I'd need to hear a solid argument for that. So. Here, we're just going to add a thing for Techguns. And I think I can use reflection for this. I don't think I need to make it super complicated. Um, And then just like put everything that we need here. I need to go to new into this. I don't know the ID. I think it's just Techguns. I'm gonna double check that. Because it wouldn't entirely surprise me if it's not. Okay, it is Techguns. Good. Good. We have Techguns and then the title. According to it, that's its name with a lowercase g. I think I didn't put a lowercase g everywhere. I didn't. Whatever, it doesn't matter. That's the official name. So this is going to return integration IDs dot Techguns ID, and then I'm get the mod title, and that's going to return integration titles dot Techguns title. We do have handlers that we need to return. I think that's it. Right? Like all this has is that, and then it overrides that for stuff, but we don't need to do any of that. Oh, yeah, I need to return immutable list dot of new handler. Actually, let's not do any of that. I'm gonna have this nested here. Okay, so what this has is, so this is basically returning a new Techguns calculation handler. Do the thing that you gotta do. Yeah. I guess I could make this protected, right? That would work? Yeah, that would work. Okay, so we have two things that I'm pretty sure we need to do. The first thing is we have an attack. And it's on high. Oh, and we need a reflection helper thing. Just like first aid had. Because I'm not adding this as a dependency. I really don't feel like it. It's not necessary. We just have a couple of things that we need to do here. Now this does it slightly differently. Oh, I think it's because... Yeah, I see. And I need a class. I need a class, and 2 methods. I need 2 classes and 2 methods. Alright, I need 2 classes and 2 methods. I need TG damage source, and then I need... This should extend damage source. I know that much. And this thing... This is just a class. Yeah, that's what we need. So we start with that. TG damage source equals... I mean, do I need to do the reflection? I might not. This is gonna have to be whichever one this is. There we go. It's going to be Techguns dot damage system dot tg damage source. Oh yeah, but we don't actually know that it extends damage source. That's true. Hello, hello. Today we are doing mod compat for the long-awaited Techguns, because Techguns doesn't work with us. So we're making it work, and I'm deciding whether or not I want to use reflection or not. If I use reflection like this, I don't have to add it here, but it might be a little bit slower. I don't even really know if it's worth it. I mean, okay, everything else is here. I've got first aid, I've got baubles. I even have the between lands. I thought. Didn't I have the between lands? Oh, I don't. So coding status effects, not status effects. Having this game, having this mod work with mine. I guess this is technically not integration. This is technically Compat. We'll have this be called Compat, because I'm not adding anything in specific. Was a Spartan weaponry called Compat? It was called Compat. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I need. I guess I can just use this. I didn't for between lines. Between lines, I just grabbed the class. And then used it here. So, you know. Alright, so then yeah, we're just gonna do that. Add throws declaration. And then what's your problem? Oh wait, yeah. This dot NPC TG damage system equals class dot for name Techguns dot I don't know what Techguns dot API dot NPC dot INPCTG damage system. Ta-da! Those are classes I need for starters. Then I also need another one. is going to be Techguns dot damage system. And this, I need to grab a couple methods. And this takes an entity living base, and then a damage source, and then a float, right? Okay, so I need two methods. Attack entity from and living herd. So this dot attack entity from is going to be damage system dot get declared method. What is this? Returns a method that reflects the specified public member method of the class or interface represented by this class object. The name parameter. Okay. It's this probably fine. This is probably public, right? You're public, right? Yeah, you're public. Oh, but what if it's a static method? Wait a second. Oh wait, it doesn't matter. It's only in the invocation if it matters. Right. Okay. So the name I'm looking for is attack entity from, and the parameter types are entity living base dot class. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, entity living base dot class, followed by, you've got to be damage source, right? Yeah, you're damage source. Damage source dot class, and then float dot class. Yeah, okay. Add throws declaration. Good shit. And now we do this dot living hurt. Living hurt. That's gonna be damage system. No. NPC TG damage system, I believe. No, it's still living hurt. Yeah, it's still living hurt. It's still damage system. Get method. This living herd is probably public as well. It would make sense. Yeah, it would make sense. Okie doke. Okie dokie. And it takes the same thing. Except the name is obviously living hurt. And the parameter types are Yeelp.class, damage source.class, and float.class. Okay, good shit. And then this, yeah. And then we need a get instance. Oh, we need an init. Static void init. And then we add the throws declaration. And then we have a get instance. However, here we do something else. We merely do if instance is null, and we throw a new runtime exception. Basically the same thing that this is. Reflection helper for this. That's not how you spell that word. There you go. And then otherwise we return instance. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so there's going to be a static Boolean. Oh wait, this should not be static. So this dot tg damage source dot is instance. And then is npc tg damage system. I think this is this, right? Because this thing is I don't know. Where am I? Yeah, it is an entity living base. So we got that, and now I have to use these. I need to do this. And so, this dot attack entity from dot invoke. It is static, so I don't need to worry about that. And then we pass in ELB, the source, and the amount. Right, and there is that. Invoke living heart. This is null, and then this is ELB, the source, and the amount. And then we add throws declaration to that. Boom. Okay, so we have this. I guess I can do it in pre-init. Okay, yeah, we'll do init start, probably. I guess that's probably fine. I mean, basically just do the same thing here. And I'm curious about this. So when it goes in here, yeah, this is in init. In init, it gets the handlers and registers them. So if I do an init start, oh, dude. And then I just make it be this dot handler to register. And I just set this handler to register to be whatever handler I'm going to register, which is going to depend, right? Here it's going to be like this dot handler to register equals new Techguns calculation handler. All right, I set it to this. But if I fail, I set it to a different one. Where the first thing I do is I do Techguns reflection helper dot init, and then I surround this with a try multi-catch. And then I do whatever we did here, basically. Going to report this error. And then this is going to be e.getClass.getSimpleName. And then we're gonna have e.get localized message dot for each, and it's gonna be, we're gonna fatal that out. What am I doing? Okay, good. I want to make sure it wasn't formatting that section. And then, right, so like this actually has to go into here. And then this goes here as well. And then here we return false because we didn't do. And now get stack trace dot map it. Right, and that's basically the same thing here. And then we're gonna set it to be a different handler. Basically this, right? And then we do a at subscribe event public void on join world player logged in event. Event.player.world.is remote. I know I'm copying all of this, and probably I should have like one unifying class that defines how this reflection handler initialization works, but I don't feel like doing that because I don't think it's entirely necessary. It's the third time that's the chime. If I have to do this a third time, then I will rewrite all of this and this. Because, yeah. Okay, event.player.send message. New text component string. And then it's basically just this. These check the logs. Report it. dot set style new style. Yeah, I can't do this. New style dot set color text formatting dot red. And then you put this here, right? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh wait, and then we have to. Oh wait, I don't need a dot register it. I don't need dot register it because we initialize it to here, and then it's gonna be put to here. And I think this has a. You know, just for the sake of just a sanity check. But the handler doesn't have a name. Hmm. I wonder, do you have? Yeah, you already do it if it's already registered twice. Oh yeah, I guess it doesn't return. I guess it doesn't complete normally. That needs to be like that. Okay. Just a little sanity check. If I see that showing up, then things are being registered twice and they shouldn't be. Okay, so this initializes the reflection helper and does that. All right, so let's see. We have that, and now we just need to do this. And there's two methods that we need to listen to here. So we want to respond before this does. Right, and what we want to do here is that's the damage system. Okay, I do go here, sure. We want to do if TG, wait, no, if Techguns reflection helper dot get instance dot is TG damage source. Wait, do I even need the attack entity from? I do that. Then I guess what I do is I do accessor dot get combat tracker dot if present handle attack stage and pass in the event. Which basically means we're doing this before Techguns cancels it. Because Techguns cancels this event before we respond to it. So if Techguns is installed, we're going to respond before Techguns cancels it. Because Techguns will cancel it specifically under this condition. Which will bring us here, where we do all of this. And that should just work. This allows us to classify the damage. But now the question is, does it still fire a living hurt? Yeah, because it does damage the entity. And if it damages the entity, then it will fire a living hurt. So I don't need to worry about doing that myself. Which means I think all I need is this. I don't think I needed the other method stuff, because I'm not preventing Techguns from doing its calculations. I'm just jumping in front of Techguns in this specific instance. Techguns is gonna cancel the thing normally, right? We do this, and then we do event.set. Can I not set the amount? Oh, no, we can't. So then we just gotta do that. We just have to jump in front and do that. And then we need to do... we do if the entity is an instance of this, then we set canceled and we do the living hurt. I don't think there's any living damage that it cancels. There's living death, but it doesn't cancel it, so that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, we're fine. We just gotta do if Techguns reflection helper dot get instance dot is npc tg damage system event dot get entity living. And we do DDD API accessor get the combat tracker, and when we do that, we're going to do ct.handle hurt stage. And I think that's actually all we need to do. We just need to jump in front. Because what Techguns is doing is it's actually doing a modified version of what would happen after DDD anyway. So like after DDD finishes here, right? Because it normally listens on the lowest, right? After it does this, it instead is going to listen to. It's setting to listen at highest priority, which is going to be before Techguns response, and then normally what would happen if Techguns wasn't installed is after DDD is done, and like other thing at lowest priority are done, Minecraft's going to take over and do its calculations. Techguns instead just does a modified version of those calculations, which is why it cancels it, I guess. I still think that's a really weird way of doing it, but whatever. And I do think there should be a better way of doing it, but again, whatever. And so in this case, I still want to go before those calculations take place, so just jump in front, do those calculations, and then it's going to go through. All right, and we're going to check to see if it's a TG damage source, and then we're going to just handle the attack stage. And in the instance that there is a event listener that responds between this and Techguns, and it cancels the event before Techguns can, then what'll happen here is that we're going to push the combat tracker onto the stack, right? Or sorry, we push the calculation onto the stack, and then what happens is it doesn't last very long. Because we have I think it's in the DD combat calculations. Maybe. Yeah, on entity tick. You know, like after a second or whatever, that calculation is going to be wiped. We're going to wipe that calculation. Because, yeah, we don't want to keep that calculation, because that calculation is no longer valid. But if we get hit in between this interval, we just do a nested calculation. That's all that happens. We just nest a calculation. That calculation gets popped, this interval goes, and then we wipe it. So, honestly, we're fine. We're pretty robust here. So, I guess the number one way to confirm that this works is... I have an idea. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to check to see that... we're gonna try without this, and we're going to see what happens when we have Techguns, and we like shoot something with Techguns. Right? What should happen is it like DDDs shouldn't really respond or be able to do anything. I'm pretty sure. And then we add this. And then DDD should be responding normally. I don't care if it's not classifying it correctly or whatever. That's just a config thing. It's just to make sure that it responds. If DDD can respond to everything appropriately now, and nothing breaks, then that means it works. Well, actually, before we do that, we actually have to add this here. Bro, like it's taking its sweet time. We just gotta wait. We just gotta wait. What if I finish this and Thumbcraft and Electro Bob's Wizardry in like 3 hours? Well, all I'm gonna say is it's nice to dream. But yeah, that's not happening. All right. Add Techguns to the CurseForge profile. That's Tech Reborn. This is Techguns. Why is it not the first thing that shows up? I don't know. Eventually, what fundamentally is going to happen is that I'm going to have so much mod compat that DDD is eventually going to have mod compat with 2 mods that can't even work together with each other. Which means you can't have all the mods that DDD can work with enabled at once, because there will eventually be mods that won't work together. I'm positive. There's like 25 mods here. And you're still taking forever. Oh my gosh. I like went to CurseForge to like set this up, figured I'd come back, and that this thing would, you know, be done. You don't see it. There's a window that's popped up that doesn't let me change anything right now. It's the user operation is waiting for loading tasks of all Gradle projects to complete. And I thought the window was just hanging, but no, it's actually doing stuff. It's doing it at about 10 frames a second. So, you know, that's what we're running on right now. And my hard drive activity light is just on solid. Just solid on, while apparently it finds the meaning of the universe to freaking load my Gradle project. This program's whack. Oh my gosh, we're in. Okay. But like, look how many mods there's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 mods that DDD has specific integration with. This has its own library. And this has its own library. And I think this one does too. This one does as well. So it's like, this is a lot. Integral mods dot put integration IDs dot Techguns ID, and then we want a new Techguns Compat. Come on. Compute the proposal, bro. I'm aging. There we go, it took forever. Butte. Get static field values sorted by field name. Get static field values sorted by field name. Oh, and then it just kind of does that. Right. Okay, so we got this. Abada boom. I think that's it. Honestly, I thought this would be a massive pain in the ass. It turns out, actually, fun fact, it's not a massive pain in the ass yet. So we're going to use the older version of DDD. And by older, I mean like the one that I built last week when I was doing Huela stuff. And we're going to check to see how that one works with Techguns. It probably shouldn't work, but this is to illustrate the problem that we have, and then we check to see if this is a valid solution. And that's basically that. We had a laser pistol and we go all Master Chief on their ass. Also, I'm going to preface this right now. There is a chance that the sound effects from Techguns are god-awful loud. So just, temper your expectations. Be ready to adjust your volume if necessary. I will try to check the volume before I start using it. But it might be loud. I find the sound effects from Techguns to be god-awful loud, personally. But then again, it's literal firearms in Minecraft, so I'm not like super surprised that it's loud. Because it plays a sound effect every time you shoot. So if you shoot a full auto, it's every fire. Every time it shoots, it plays a sound effect. So if you were there for the Paranagi streams and you felt the sound effects from Techguns were awfully loud, it's not a Paranagi thing. It's just a Techguns thing. I think it'll be fine, hopefully, because I have some of the stuff turned down. So looking at this, it doesn't seem like there is any problem with everything. Everything looks good. Yeah, I have a pretty genius idea. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I have a pretty genius idea here. I want to add a window capture. Do you not want to? I'd be real sad if you don't want to do this. Dude, it doesn't want to do it. I wanted to capture the console, but it doesn't want to. What if I do this? Really? I find that fascinating. Oh, because when I did the launcher... Also, that's not even the right thing. That should be here. Maybe that's why. I have no idea. Hold on. I got this. I don't got this, by the way. Fun fact. I thought I had this. The reality was, I do not. For now, anyway. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. All that matters is we're here now. I guess. Okay, so we here, right? And so actually, wait. First, I was going to say that I was going to check the sounds. I've got the volume at 50%. I'm going to turn players down to 80. I don't know what category it's going to be under. All I'm going to say is adjust your ears. Okay. A lot of stuff, right? So now we get to see how it works. Wasn't there a laser pistol here somewhere? I'm not very familiar with this mod. I'm gonna be honest. I use it in like Parnuggy and like that's it. There we go. Yeah, that is awfully loud. My gosh. What under what category are you? You're not under that category, that's for sure. I'm gonna turn this down. It's under no category. It's just loud. Alright, we turn it down to 30%. That's a little bit better. So, as it stands right now, don't hit the reflecting zombie. What do you got? Okay, you're just that. You suck. Right, so we got that. It's working. And now if I shoot you, right? Let's look at what it said there. It said something that was absolutely incorrect. 0.01 piercing damage. For the damage classification. And then current damage 0.01. And the final damage is 0.01. Right, because it's firing a damage thing. But it's not firing anything else. Right, so... Bye. Like, it's still technically doing the correct amount of damage, but it's just... bruh. I like how that still hits me. Even though I'm in creative. How do you even accomplish that, buddy? Right, but like... He's got some piercing resistance, but it's not actually... I mean, he is getting some stuff. He just got eviscerated, bro. That's crazy. But yeah, like, it's not really working. And moreover, I think part of the problem is that this is firing on both sides, which is really dumb, but... You know, I'm not worrying about that. Yeah, save it. And then build it. And then go to... I guess it doesn't matter if it fires on both sides. If it's not remote, and we have that. We only want to do this on the server. I might as well just throw this here and this here. And then just do the same thing. Just like that. And then just put this entity here. And this entity here. A little bit better. Just so that we're not firing on both ends. Because we don't want to do that. Because that's cringe. One thing I want to check here is I want to go to open this folder. I want to just check something real quick. Real quick. Actually, I don't think it... Yeah, anyway, I think whatever. I think I'm fine. Instances here, we go here, and then I also need to go to, I don't know, somewhere. Here, 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 here. Okay. Build it again. Just for sure, please. Okay, so where are you here? Get out of my sight. Wait, no, what are you doing? Dude, get this and get rid of it. And then get this and throw it over here. There we go. Bruh. All right, let's go. All right. We out here. We're gonna get this to work. I think we got this. All right. So last time it didn't work. Now, before we do this, I check the console real quick because I want to make sure that it actually found Techguns and that Techguns worked. Where is it? Okay, we found Techguns. We found Techguns, so we should have enabled it all. Hello, schmooze mates. Schmooze meats. I think I had a stroke with that. I'm very sorry. Where are you going? Really? But why? Yeah, I don't know what happened with me on that moment, yeah. But this is not working. That is quite interesting. Oh! Wait, no, I don't know. There might be something. There might be something. Yeah, there is that. Okay. I have a different idea. I think that didn't work, but I have an idea why. So, part of it is this callback just doesn't happen, right? So, idea, instead of basically doing this, we instead delegate. We don't even need this anymore. We don't even need this anymore, and we don't even need this anymore. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do DDD combat calculations dot on attack, and I'm going to pass an event. I'm basically just going to go and do the thing myself. Right? And then here, I can just change this to you. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. And then I want to do DDD combat calculations dot on hurt. So I basically go in here, and then I do this. And then this will do the attack callback, which will actually have the show up, because it wasn't doing it before. right? And it still causes it to handle the attack stage. And then on her, it'll cause it to handle the hurt stage, right? But then we're also gonna like set the damage and stuff. We need to do it. This is an important step that we do on Living Hurt that we don't do inside the combat tracker because we can't do it inside the combat tracker. And then also all of this with this armor modifier injectors and all that other stuff, all of that still needs to occur. And then we want to do this. And then we want to do this. You see? So that's the genius of it. I still don't believe I need these. I don't think any of this is necessary. Neither this. But you know what, actually? For now, until I know that it works. I'm gonna leave that. Because maybe I gotta do it. Maybe I gotta just completely do it myself. In which case, I'd want to have these available. I might not need to. So you might be good. I think this should have it work. I think so. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Okay. Grab this, throw this over here, and launch this. All right. Do we find Techguns? I'm pretty sure we do. I'm just gonna double check and make sure. Where are you? Here? No, you're not even here yet. Okay, we find Techguns. Brilliant. So now that is still working, but now if I shoot you, look at that, dude. Look at that. We have entity.laserprojectile.name. It doesn't have a name, but it's Techguns laser projectile. And defenders is, and the source is TG energy, and it's 9. That's for the attack. So this thing here is the jape. But then we determine damage here. Let me do it again. Because Techguns fires it twice. It fires it on the client, and it fires it on the server. When it fires it on the client, it clearly does it with 0.01. Why does it do that? Because Techguns is weird. That's just life, bro. And then it does it for realsies on the server, where the damage is 9. It's piercing because that's the default damage for projectiles. But now what I could do is I could assign Techgun's laser projectile to be like force damage. In fact, I will do that. And then I will put that on the gun here. And then we should be able to see that projectile damage go through and be classified as force damage, which means something that resists force damage should resist that. Now, I think this bypasses armor, which means, I think something that, like, because this has force, this would have force resistance, right? But I don't think it's going to benefit from the armor here. So we're just gonna go and where are you, bro? There you are. We're going to damage, and then we're gonna do projectile damage types, and we're gonna go all the way down here. And I was gonna be like, do I remember what it was? No, but I can check the console because the console will have it in there as well. Techguns laser projectile. Put the console down here. So this is going to be Techguns laser projectile semicolon DDD underscore force. We'll set it to 1. And then the item that we want to use is, I don't know. Laser pistol. Right, and then that should categorize as force. Right, now obviously it's not going to show up, right, because it's not going to. So I need to restart for those changes to take effect. So we're going to do that. I will classify this as a win 100% if this laser pistol does force damage, if it is affected by resistances and all of that. If all of those calculations go off correctly, I will classify this as a W. And then everyone who's using the old versions of DDD because it accidentally works with Techguns, I can now tell them that they are objectively wrong and that they need an update. And then I will do so, and it still won't work. And then I will scream into a pillow. Typical coding day. Alright, so now this has a projectile distribution. It says 100% force damage. That's awesome. I shoot you. It says force damage. Right? And now you have force resistance, right? But I don't know if so you just took 9. Actually, did you take 9? Or did your armor actually affect it? Your armor did affect it because zombies have a bit of armor. Right, so let's bring out something that doesn't have force resistance. We can also check adaptability, which would be something I'd really want to check. You don't have force resistance. And that's just full 9. Right? So, good stuff. So this means that you should take less damage. And since you do have like force stuff, like it should affect. Yeah, you got extra armor and toughness modifications. So you actually took significantly less damage because the force is effective. But you should take even less. Yeah, 3.74. My guy. What kind of diamond chestplate you even have? Or is it just because the diamond chestplate is... Yeah, it has everything on it, right? So it just... Oh, wait, but there's other stuff, too. I think it's... It might be the leggings. No, because that provides nothing. So... Well, you had a lot of armor on, right? So that's fine. And now I can check adaptability, and I will do so with... I probably can't do so with an Enderman, but I probably can do so with an Endermite, but it probably dies instantly. Yep. Okay, so we can't do it with an Endermite because they get absolutely obliterated. I don't think I can shoot an Enderman, because I'm pretty sure they're just gonna... Oh, I can. So it actually did provide that. Okay, you are adaptive. Now if I shoot you... Huh. You see that? Adapted to bludgeoning, right? So if I shoot it, it should take 9 damage. But it instead takes 4.5. It adapts before it actually takes damage. That's interesting. And not at all how that's supposed to work. I need to add another listener that's gonna... Oh, you know why? Oh my gosh, I think I figured it out why. Because it fires twice. It fires the damage twice, right? Well, I guess it does all of this twice. Because it does it with... The source is TG knockback, and then it's TG energy. So since it hits twice, and it classifies this as force, it then gives the Enderman force resistance before this happens. Why, Techguns, why? Why are you like this? I don't think that thing had, I don't think that thing had adaptability. So, we're not quite out of the woods yet. I don't know why it's doubling up. But basically, what I want to do is... I have two choices here. I could fire the on attack if the damage source... I could not fire the on attack if the damage source is TG knockback and if the amount is 0.01. Or I fire it all anyway, and instead just have another listener that listens to the adaptability thing and only adapt if it's not TG knockback and the damage is 0.01. I have two choices here. But I don't think the calculation event gives me the damage. Oh, it does. And it gives me the damage source. So I have those two choices. I'm not sure if... I'm not sure which one's better. We're gonna try this first. Let's see, what do I want here? Because I think this had, yeah, it had that, right? So, this is gonna be, I'm just gonna copy these over, right to here. And then this is the INPCTG damage system. Whoops, that's not how you spell that word. Okay, so it was TG underscore knockback. That's what it is. Threshold. I can set this to is valid damage. I just negated. And then I do if this dot is valid damage, event dot get source, event dot get amount, and that. Now we don't need that. And do the same thing here. Except this could be declared static, right? Yeah, it could be declared static. Okay. So make this static then. Get rid of this. Is valid damage. Event dot get source. Event dot get amount. And then we can just put the source here. So if it's not TG knockback, or if it's, you know, greater than this threshold, then it won't actually fire this stuff. See you later. Okay, good, good. We got this. Now, I'm not gonna put this stuff in, because again, I don't think I'm gonna need them. But I'm gonna wait until everything is working before I do that. Oh. I probably don't even need this either. Oops. Because I only use that for that. I probably only really need these two classes. It's entirely possible that those other things aren't needed. Wait, no, you're not supposed to launch it. I didn't bring it over. I didn't bring it over. Wait, can I fix this? Dang it, I can't. No, stop. Stop. Try that again. Okay. Now... Oh my gosh, bro, why are you... You were a champion. Why are you a champion, bro? Bye! Okay, and you don't... There we go. But it still fires the damage. It still fires the damage. Of course, yes, it still fires the damage. Yes, that makes sense. It would still fire the damage. I need to... Because, okay, so it comes along here and it fires the damage. And then what we do is we instead leave this. Because maybe we decide to say, alright, fine, it can do the calculation. Because I don't know if there's a way to prevent it from running the calculation. There'd have to be an injector. We'd have to have an injector that Techguns registers that goes in here and just prevents this from running. But at the end of the day, I don't know if it really matters. You might get slightly better performance if it doesn't run the calculations, because it doesn't need to run the calculations. That's fair. That is fair. Now the question is how can we prevent this from running? I don't want to necessarily throw in an injector here, but I do want this to not run. Let's see, is there... What should I want to call this? Okay, so if I do this... Let me go to the combat calculations. If cancel in this phase, it will still run in other phases, unless canceled there as well. So this injector allows me to straight up cancel the calculation. Okay, so we got that. Now, actually no, it should fire every time. Yeah, we just need to set. Now, these events, they don't have their own hierarchy. Wait, is a tree set sorted? Sorted according to natural order of elements. Oh, that's why it's a tree set. And that's why I want a tree set here. Yeah, you just iterate over it. Okay, that's fine. And then this should go to injector dot should cancel. We pass B in here. The phase, the defender, the attacker, the source, the amount. And we're missing something else. How do we combine it? Well, if one says they should cancel, then I might not be able to stream it like this. Hmm. There we go. That works. That works. That works. Oh wait, I need the damage source for that. Right. Just realized I don't need that. And then we just add this blurb. This little bit right here. To all of this. Right, and then we got all that. And our Techguns Compat on init. And then we're gonna return imod integration dot super dot init. And then I don't need this anymore, right? Because this will just come into here, and then it'll fire the should cancel injector, and it will cancel it. And I think that's all I need. I don't think I need to do anything else. This injector is probably a little bit better than just listening to the events because we don't want DDD to run its calculations on the dummy damage because there's no point. We literally don't care about it. We literally don't want to use it. So let's not even bother with it. Alright, so now it shouldn't, because now it just straight up prevents it from doing it. If it's the dummy damage, which is a damage type equaling TG knockback, and the amount being less than that knockback threshold. And then DDD won't even run calculations on it. And I think this is a little bit better than having the events because if I come across anything in the future that requires me to specifically tell DDD to not run calculations in certain instances, It would be good to have this injector to specifically tell DDD to not bother. Am I gonna need that at any point? Probably not, but you know, it's there just in case. You know. Okay, so I think we're good. And then I'm pretty sure that should fix it. I'm glad I decided to double check and like check the adaptability and stuff because that would have been a problem, right? That would have been a problem that would have just completely gone under the radar for pretty much a lot of people. Because I don't think many people are gonna pay that close attention. Right, so you've got bludgeoning resistance, right? So if I do the shooty, it does 9. Now it does 4.5. By that was 9. That was 4.5. Yeah, okay. Tis working. Which is good. You like that. And everything else should work correctly because it all just works off the same thing. Because I got it to work with the damage system. Okay, cool, awesome. We got it working. I think I think that's about it for Techguns. I think that's just Techguns just working. All that's then what we have is Electro Blobs and Tomcraft. But as it is, I might actually end early just because I got this done and getting started on Electro Blobs and Thaumcraft right now, I would just be mulling around trying to learn about the specifics I need to do. I think I need to spend some time off stream looking at it, at least. That's my initial plan. So I might not want to get into that 2.5 hours into a stream because I'm probably not really going to get much of anywhere. So we might call it an early stream here. There's not much else I could do otherwise. Not to my knowledge, not offhand anyway, so. Yeah, we're gonna end early, I think.